Orla Perik Aleph Mishnah Vav. The Mishnah deals here with the din of bittul, of the issa of Orla, one aspect of the din of the bittul of Orla. The bulk of dine bittul of Orla is dealt with in Perik Beis, and we'll see as we learn this Mishnah why this particular halacha is brought here. Klai Kerem and Orla are placed together in this Mishnah. Klai Kerem is when a person has grown grain or vegetation, edible vegetation, next to in close proximity to a vine, making an issa of Klai Kerem, which is also Bahana, and the reason they're put together is that they share dine bittul with each other, Orla and Klai Kerem. So the Mishnah says as follows: Nutiyah shel Orla, a shoot of Orla, v'shel Klai Kerem, or of Klai Kerem, shenisarvu benetiyos, that have been mixed in with other shoots in an orchard or in a vegetable patch, and you no longer know which it is the shoot of Orla or of Klai Kerem, so you don't know where your issa is. Hareze lo yilkoit, the whole vineyard or that whole patch becomes osa. They are not bottle. Netiyah shel Orla, what's the case of Netiyah shel Orla? That's simple enough. You have a shoot of Orla which was planted in an orchard, and you simply don't know which one is your Orla anymore. Klai Kerem is a little bit more of a problem to understand what the case is. The Yerushalmi asks the question, the Rishonim here on the Mishnah bring it. Klai Kerem, the din is as soon as you plant some zera in the Kerem, the whole Kerem becomes osa. So it's really doesn't matter if you know where your zera is. And the Yerushalmi brings two situations, and the Mefarshim bring them both. Either it is a case of an atzitz nokuv. We've already come across atzitz nokuv in Mishnah Beis. In the case of the Sfina, atzitz nokuv is a plant pot which has in it growing some grain. There are perforations in the plant pot, which mean that it is considered connected to the ground. A person takes this atzitz nokuv and he's ma'avir under a vine. That vine now becomes Klai Kerem, and then that vine is taken and transplanted into another vineyard where there are several other vines, and obviously you can no longer tell which is your original vine, the one which has an issa of Klai Kerem. And the question is that bottle in the rest of the vineyard? And the Mishnah says no, hareze lo yilkoit, you're not allowed. The second situation brought by the Yerushalmi and brought by some of the Mefarshim here is where a person has planted a vine in an aruga, in a vegetable patch. That vine now has a din of Klai Kerem, and that vine is now taken and transplanted into a vineyard. In the first case of the atzitz nokuv, just maybe of interest to you, we remember when we spoke last time, we said that the atzitz nokuv, even if it's suspended in the air and not physically connected to the ground, it still gets its nutrition from the ground and is therefore considered growing from the ground. And we said that that applies to many different halachas, for example, Hilchas Shabbos. The Tosfos Yom Tov here brings that in this case, in order for this din to apply, it has to have been munach, it has to have been placed on the ground, and you can look at the Tosfos Yom Tov to see why that is the case. In any event, in both these cases, the Mishnah tells us, hareze lo yilkoit, that he may not pick any of those fruit, as they are also, any fruit of that whole vineyard, as they are also. Because we do not say that the issa is bottle in the heter. Even if you have the usual required proportion of 1 to 200, it is still not bottle. And the reason for that is that we do not apply the din of bittul b'mechuber. When something is growing from the ground, dinei bittul do not apply. It's called a kavua. It's called something that's fixed, and we apply the normal rule of kol kavua k'mechtzal mechtzadom. Anything that is fixed, there is no din. However, what happens if he did go and pick, thinking that dinei bittul do apply. V'im lokat, if he did go and pick from those fruit, then yale be'echod u'masayim. Then what he has picked is bottle 1 in 200, which is the normal din of bittul. We'll explain when we come to Perek Beis where this echod u'masayim comes from. Ubilvad says that Mishnah, the Tanakama, shelo yiskaven lilkod, that when he does so, it is not his intention in picking to be mevatel, because we have a din of ein mevatel in isla chatchila, which is gzeira derabbanon, in case a person will deliberately go and be mevatel issa and not worry about isurim at all. So says the Mishnah, if he picked thinking that it is mutter because bittul applies, then the fruit are taka mutter. But if he picked with the intention of being mevatel the issa in that way, then that he's not allowed to do. Ein mevatel issa lechatchila. Rabbi Yossi says, Av yiskaven lilkoit v'yalu be'echod u'masayim. Rabbi Yossi says the principle of ein mevatel issa lechatchila does not apply here. Ein mevatel issa lechatchila, as we've just explained, is a gzeira derabbanon. We have a rule in all gzeres derabbanon that the Rabbanon only made their gzeres in milsa de shchicha, in situations that are common, but heiche de lo shchicha, where it's not common, they did not apply the gzera. Says Rabbi Yossi, we have a chazaka that ein odam oise karma b'netia achas. A person would not go for one netia and make his whole kerem osor. So we're not worried that if we allow him to be mevatel issa here, that he would do so lechatchila generally. And therefore the rule of ein mevatel issa lechatchila does not apply. Interesting thing here, again, we mentioned in Mishnah Aleph, where we had Rabbi Yossi arguing on the Tanakama there, that the Pirush HaMishnah is paskins like Rabbi Yossi, and then in the Yadi paskins against Rabbi Yossi, and there's a similar thing here. I don't know if there's anything in that, but here as well, the Pirush HaMishnah is paskins like Rabbi Yossi, and then in Yad, the Rambam paskins not like Rabbi Yossi, like the Tanakama. I said I would explain why this Mishnah is here, even though Dinei Bittul are in Perek Beis. I think because in Perek Beis we're talking about where it's not been mechuba. Here we're talking about where it's been mechuba, and that fits in with the general theme of this Perek, which is which kind of tree actually attracts the din of Arla, and so this tells us about the tree while it's still growing.